It's time for a shot of vitamin T with Teresa Tomeo. And Teresa, I want to get right to it because there is big news coming out of the Vatican connected to EWTN News, which you are a part of, and just wanted to get your thoughts about the big announcement today.
Yeah, you're talking about the advancement of Montse Alvarado, who runs the news division at EWTN and is going over to serve as the head of the Dicastery for communications, which is a huge position. She'll be basically in charge of all the communications coming out of the Vatican, and she's the first laywoman to be assigned to this position. So yeah, pretty exciting. She'll be starting on November 1st, I believe, according to the article in EWTN News this morning.
And now you have somebody else to visit during the time that you're in Italy, because she's coming. I mean, she's going to be there, right?
Well, I think she's already pretty busy. I think she's gonna be a little bit too busy to hang out with tea. But if she can do it, I'm sure she will. I'm sure maybe we can grab a cup of coffee or a cappuccino next time that she's in Rome and I'm in Rome. She may still be there. I don't know. I know she was chatting with Joan Lewis online back and forth in preparation for Catholic Connection. So she may still be there because I know she was at. I think she's going to be at the audience tomorrow. And I think she was there for the presentation of the encyclical last week. So God bless her. It's a big responsibility, but it's going to be exciting to see a woman in this position, especially someone from EWTN.
Right, and that's if I could get just a minute, because I know we've got something else we want to talk about, but I wanted to get your thoughts on what that means for EWTN and how EWTN is seen to pull her from a position of leadership at EWTN into this head of the dicastery.
Well, I think it says a lot for the network overall in terms of our presence. I was mentioning on the air earlier this week that we did have, this is actually last week, I think I mentioned it yesterday too, but we had the privilege of doing a video for the Vatican directly connected to the encyclical that was on the Vatican webpage. And so when you went to look up the encyclical on Vatican News, you would see this beautiful video that was available and that was put together by the EWTN Rome Bureau. So we have really, I think, and I know from my experience last year, guys, when I was being interviewed so often by the different programs, Newsmax, Fox News, News Nation, Spectrum, all these different, and of course, the local stations in Michigan and Ohio regarding the conclave, that they recognize EWTN now, the world does, as a solid source for Catholic news. And I think that's really a positive sign. And I'm anxious to see, because the only stories I've seen so far are the ones that are on the our websites and EWTNnews.com. I'm hoping that the media will pick up on this, the secular media, because how many times have we heard, oh, the church is so oppressive and doesn't promote women? So here's a major position given to a young woman at the Vatican. So
who also happens to be Mexican American. So there's a couple of talking points that should attract the secular media. Love that. Want to talk about this weekend, big weekend, the Feast of Corpus Christi. Want to talk about what might be going on there at home for you in Orvieto.
Yeah, this is a beautiful event. Obviously, the miracle, the Corpus Christi miracle, basically it happened in Bolsena, which is about a half hour south of Orvieto, but it's housed in the Duomo in Orvieto because the priest who was actually experienced the miracle many centuries ago brought the corporal and the bleeding host to the Pope, who was in Orvieto at the time, and it's remained there since. So I think I mentioned to you last week, after Pentecost, they stopped the veneration of the corporal. They have this reliquary open above the altar of the chapel of the corporal for the Easter season and the Christmas season. And then there'll be a special exposition this Sunday in Orvieto. But it's quite something. Now, we've been to seen the corporal many times, including last weekend, Pentecost weekend. But this will be the first time we're attending the procession, and we're so excited. We actually have a friend who's having a birthday party. This is how it works out. She's having a birthday party in the area, and so we're staying in Orvieto, and it's the night before the Corpus Christi event. So we're going to get up early and line up. They start this huge procession, several hundred people. And what they do is they have religious leaders, the local bishop, they actually put the corporal in a monstrance and they walk it around the village, and everyone is dressed in period costumes. It is something that they take very seriously for this miracle that happened in the 13th century. So they have also what's known as the infiorata, which is a flower carpet, basically. And so they put different images on the ground in all these different flower petals. in honor of basically lining the way for the Lord in this beautiful procession. I'm really excited to see this. It's quite something. So it's going to be, we'll have more to talk about next week when I'm on with you, but I'll also want to let people know to stay tuned to my Facebook page, because I'll be posting this weekend with lots of pictures and the procession. These processions here are just so beautiful, especially the large ones, like in cities such as Orvieto. We had a little procession in our town over the weekend because we have a dedication to Saint Therese of the Little Flower for protection for the farmers. I'll have a video on that as well, but that's much smaller. I mean, our village only has 200 people. Orvieto is quite a large town in Umbria, but they do it so beautifully, and it's so important to them. And I think it's a message for all of us to show the importance of tradition, especially our Catholic tradition. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. A lot going on here.
I would love to be there for that, and you're going to be there this weekend, so hopefully you'll be able to really describe it for us next Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, they have marching bands, they have people in full Renaissance costume, they have different members of the religious community, including the bishop with the sacred corporal that they'll be carrying around the town. It starts on one end of Orvieto in the public Piazza del Popolo, and they'll come all the way down the main street and then turn right up the Avenue of the Duomo and go all the way up to the church where there'll be a mass after that. So it's a pretty big deal. People start lining up, I think, around 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning. Wow. So I'm glad we already have a hotel room there. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about a parking space. So, that just happened to work out. We planned on going anyway, but then it coincided with this event of a friend of ours. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, and again, we're all going to be, or many of us are going to be participating in Eucharistic processions because of the Feast of Corpus Christi. But the significance of this one is it is the miracle that kind of brought the feast about.
Yes.
Not kind of. No, yes, absolutely did.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the place for the miracle, and it's so interesting. A couple of weeks ago, when we were there for Pentecost, we were in the chapel of the corporal, and it was exposed. The corporal was exposed, and Deacon Dom and I were praying, and all these people were walking in. They're very quiet, they're very respectful, but they were just looking around like deers in the headlights, and I could tell they didn't know what they had in front of them. So I said to Dominic, okay, I can't take it anymore. So I got up, and I quietly went to the back of the chapel, and I pulled a few people aside. I said, you know where you are? And they said, well, we're in some chapel, blah, blah, blah. And I heard them speaking softly, so I knew they were American. They spoke English. And I said, well, have you heard about the Eucharistic miracle of Corpus Christi? And they said, yeah, our guide mentioned something about it. I said, he or she mentioned something about it? I said, well, you're standing in front of it. And they said, what? And they said, we are? I said, yeah. So then I did a mini evangelization about, the miracle of Bolsena, told them the whole story in like 40 seconds or less. But yeah, I mean, it's a powerful thing to see when you realize that this miracle is the miracle of Corpus Christi. And what that priest was going through, that priest from Prague who was celebrating Mass, he was on a pilgrimage, and this is in the 13th century. He was celebrating Mass at Santa Cristina's in Bolsena. And in that church, when you go to that church, obviously the corporal isn't there, but they actually have the altar where the Mass was celebrated, guys, and they actually have the slabs from the original floor, and you can see the bloodstains still to this day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See, incredible.
These are the special opportunities you get. Order Italy Shrines and Wonders, discovering sacred spaces, fascinating places, and destinations off the beaten path. But I also wanted to say, tease Italy pilgrimages. These are the kinds of special opportunities you get because of your placement there, right, Teresa? So how do people find out about
and with our background
pilgrimages?
Yeah, and also quickly, I know we got to go. I hear the music, the musical chairs, but the St. Francis book it's hitting the shelves next week, but we've already sold over 5,000 copies.
I love it. You can pre-order it now.
Yeah. Yep.
Great. Connect. And of
Thanks,
course,
guys.
Thank you, Teresa.
Catholic Connection is coming up immediately following our program here this morning, so stick around.
Yeah, go to teresatomeo.com to find out about her upcoming Italy pilgrimages, including one with Dr. Matthew Bunson.